Landward.com, the online marketplace for agriculture.
Today, the Landward.com film crew is in Gumbolskirchen in Lower Austria, and we're taking a look at a very elaborately restored Fendt Farmer 280p, specifically the tractor owned by Patrick Freiberger. Hello Patrick, you have restored this tractor behind us with a lot of effort and great attention to detail. Why this tractor and why did it need to be restored in the first place?
Well, the tractor, in one respect, I would say, because it has a bit of electrical equipment and is actually completely sufficient for our 3.5 hectare farm. And I actually always wanted to have a fan. So I did an apprenticeship at Hoppenkotten in Wiener Neudorf as a construction machinery technician. And then I went to Fendt in Testdorf to ACA Santayano. As a farmer, I found what I was searching for, and it was made in 1990.
In what condition did you finally bring the tractor to you?
The previous owners neglected their responsibilities. It's 30 years old. We knew from the start that there was a lot to do. And then I really took it apart completely. So really the cab came off, all the sheet metal parts came off, the tires came off, everything was thoroughly cleaned because of course there was dust and oil everywhere under the cab. It was all like a cake, so to speak. It has an air-cooled Deutz 4-cylinder engine, which is actually very low maintenance if you take good care of it and blow it out regularly. Besides that, the transmission and engine were essentially within normal limits, with nothing noteworthy. The front power takeoff that's installed, I think that's an upgrade, because originally there was a stub shaft, and this one also has a double stub shaft. I have original power takeoff speeds of 540 and 1000, and the front linkage is also original.
Which parts had to be completely replaced or fully restored?
Bluntly, nearly everything needed restoration. The paintwork was completely ruined. The previous owner painted over it, but over time, the paint peeled off. Now we've sanded everything down, then treated it with a rust converter and a rust protection primer. Then we primed it and then painted it again with a machine enamel. Actually, we bought all of that ourselves from Fendt. We actually replaced the gas pressure dampers for the doors, windows and roof. Then I also converted the roof headlights and everything to LED for more light, simply because we sometimes have to go spraying at night in the vineyards.
What was the most challenging part of the restoration?
Since all of this actually took place in our small garage, which really only has space for 2 cars, it was always a question of what do I do first? Do I work on the chassis? Do I work on the cab? All of that took place in a very tight space, including the painting and everything. So that was actually the biggest challenge.
You told me beforehand that the cab was really in bad shape. What all needed to be done?
Yeah, so the padding and everything, that was just leftovers, I would say. That's why I removed all of it, and the glue and everything, that was actually really tedious to remove. Then all these padding parts around the transmission tunnel and so on. But since that's basically just pressed cardboard with some kind of covering, getting it back into shape was actually pretty difficult. So together with my stepfather, I would say we really worked intensively on it for about 3 to 4 months. Of course with breaks, because the vineyard vegetation resumes growth. And so all in all, I think it was between 4,000 and 5,000 euros that we have invested now.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for showing us your brilliantly restored Fendt tractor. And dear do-it-yourself builders at home, if you have already completed a project on your farm or are still tinkering and looking for ideas, feel free to send us your projects. You can find the instructions for this on Landward.com, and we would be happy to visit the best projects ourselves.